Okay, making sure this screen is dark. How's everybody out there? Somebody said they want to hear more of my audios, even though they can't see me. They like the content I'm bringing. All right, so I'm doing more since it's a request. This is staying in the light. This is staying in the light radio, bringing you audio. Okay, what we're gonna talk about today, which is the eighth day of White History Month. Eighth day of White History Month. You want to go over why it's White History? I'll do that briefly. His story, because it is his story. He called himself white because he saw these people in North Africa who was the ruling class who wore white clothing, and they was looked as the rulers of the land. So he adopted that term, he made it more than a racial identification. It's a class identification to keep everyone else who's not white in a lower class. Like what they call it. Some of y'all don't remember in South Africa they had a thing called apartheid, caste system, India, untouchables. Same thing in America, just call it different names, black and white, but it's a caste system and it's a um, apartheid. Yes, no matter how much they pretend this is an apartheid country. Uh, White people don't know us like that. You know, we're not in their families, their homes. Nope, nope, nope. Very few instances where you actually seen in their communities if you're not working. Okay, so that leads to the point of. Well, let me finish talking about this white history before we get on another topic. So, because everything they've done is phony, fake, and false, how can they say? How can you dictate somebody's history? You can't dictate somebody. You can't choose what story you want to write about and say that's Black history. And so-called Black people who allow yourself to be called evil, I don't understand that. You don't know the meaning of English. You don't know what Black means. I don't care how much you love, proud of being Black. It ain't got nothing to do with how you look. It's a social class that you put yourself in to make yourself dead to any laws. Make yourself, I just don't understand it. And so what I'm doing is just shedding the light on these things to wake these people up. Find your ancestral roots. Call yourself by your name of your ancestors, the country they're from. If you don't know, find out. For example, if they're from Mississippi, you're a Mississippian. And you got a great, great, great culture. Mississippi didn't just start here when the Europeans came. Well, Europeans, them not white folks. Let's just use the term paleface because even Europeans have been deceived to think that you're talking about so-called paleface. No, the original Europeans were melanated people. Reference that in McRich's book, Ancient and Modern Britons, David McRitchie book. So everything has been charted for you to keep you in slavery, and you're proud to celebrate it every year and call it Black History, like Black has a history. There's so much nonsense in that. Hey, what's going on in the chat? Let me finish my point, and I answer y'all questions. What you talking about? Black history? Black what? Black is carbon. Black is ether. Black is the universe. How can you have a history of black? Man, do y'all speak English? Okay, so if you're talking about so-called black people, that's slavery. Before they call you the N-word, before they call you a slave, they call you black to identify you as a slave. Because why did they call you black slave? Because there were slaves who were, you got it, so-called white. And because of the slavery they went through on the Barbary Coast, where they just pick them up out these ships, and mostly in the Arabian countries have Harlems of them, they fear getting back into that type of slavery. So they dare not make moves about their enslavement. They don't want to return back to that state. So if they can keep you engaged in your story of slavery, then they can keep you a slave. Can't you see that? Can't you see your children growing up watching that, given a feeling of inferiority? How's that going to make somebody proud? Oh, my grandfather was hung from a tree for fighting for rights. What? Okay, enough of that white history month. Let's talk about moral authority. Because everywhere I look, I get caught up every now and then. I stumble across a program. I say, this seems interesting. And it's always about some uh, so called melanin deficient being putting moral codes on a melanated person. How can you have any moral authority in this country? How can you honestly? What you do around the world, what you have done, your history, you wrote it, your story. You don't have no moral authority anywhere. So you dare to come on trying to talk about somebody doing this wrong and doing that wrong, and you the master of wrong. I mean, nobody is perfect. We don't, have a melanated man. No, we're not perfect either. But we're not trying to spread our influence over the world. We did that already. We did that in Europe over almost 1,000 years. That's why you got all these beautiful places in Europe. We built them. You did not build them. We built them. We're the first people there. So I want to hear any of these people talking about how they have some moral authority. And I'm talking about these people on TV, like the Springer guy, the Steve, who's a bodyguard for Springer, Morikovich, news people. You talk like you great. You talk like you unblemished. You talk like you're a saint. You're the most corrupted people. Wait, let me stop that. They're gonna say hate speech because when you talk about truth and it affects them, it's hate. But all the time they're talking against us as a melanated people. That's not hate speech. What they're showing on Black History, that's not hate speech. You're keeping hatred alive. You should try to hide that stuff. What you did to them people. Why you want to? Oh, I see. You want to keep showing it to the young generation so they'll fear you. That's why you keep teaching that hate stuff. And so-called black people, y'all proud of that. Y'all proud y'all got hit aside the head for sitting at a lunch counter. Y'all proud that y'all got shot down like animals for standing up trying to force yourself. Y'all lost your mind. I'm telling you. Teach about the Moors, melanated people. Teach of your greatness. Teach your children of your greatness, not of your failure, your downfall. That's nothing to be proud about. I'm here to tell you. What we did in Europe, that's what's to be proud about. They giving you a false narrative. You'll never rise above what you think about every day. And if you're gonna think about slavery and the horrors that you suffered, you're gonna stay in it. That's where you've been for the last 400 years. You're in a maze. You're in a what they call a. You're just going around and around. You know what I'm talking about? Things you just keep spinning your wheels, ain't going nowhere. You know why? Because you're in a loop. You don't know how to break out of it. You just want to talk about slavery, so that's what you stay a slave. Okay, what's going on in the chat? Oh, we got some people running off at the mouth. They don't know what they're talking about. They can't even be coherent and ask a simple question. So I'm out of here. Peace to the Moors. And do your own due diligence, because I may sound like I'm teaching hate, but I'm teaching love. Love to stay in the light of truth. So do your own research. I'm not here to hold your hand and show you where to go to find the truth. If you don't want the truth in your heart, then you'll never find it. So, as we end day 7 of what? Day 8. Beginning of day 8 of White History Week, that White History Day. Oh, we got 20 something more to go. White History Month. Oh, I'm open to covers on this. Hopefully, when this thing go viral, there will be no more celebration of so-called Black history because it ain't nothing but a celebration of ignorance, indoctrination, fear tactics, hate teachings to keep people enslaved.